Speakers and your mic?
We're live. Lovely.
Okay.
Scrumming. America's Scrum late. Pavel couldn't make it. He asked us to do it. Let's just cruise through the usual 3 questions. Sam Preety's speakers are out, so it's going to be quiet today.
Okay.
How about you, John? What have you been working on? What are you planning on working on? And what blocks do you have?
Yeah. I've been working on this the time issue, and yeah, I was telling you a little while ago. I think, and I wrote up in the Slack too. I guess you read that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good to have that there.
Okay. Um, so yeah, the so I'm getting closer to having it working. I threw in a oh, what the heck, before save event for the event class. This is just my local branch right now. I'm not going to check anything unless it actually works.
Gotcha.
But that method, let's see, converts the event date to its UTC equivalent. So it's really screwy the way this class is. I guess you read my note, but still I'll go over it again. The event date is separate from the start time. Let's not even worry about the end time at this point. And the conversion, I think the implicit conversion that Active Record or Rails uses to go from local time to UTC happens on a date time field. And since the event date is just the date, it can't do anything with that, obviously. And the start time we can adjust, but it's not adjusting a date with that. So it goes in without adjusting the date. And when it comes back out, what should be happening is, I think, or when it's retrieved, so what I'm doing when I'm retrieving it is explicitly calling local time on it. And so what I'm doing now is I'm combining the time with the date and then calling local time on that combined unit. Let me see with the other function before I store it. Yeah, again, before I store it, I'm combining the date with the time, calling UTC on that before I actually store it to the database. So I can, and then using that to get the actual UTC date,
Right.
and then storing it. And I think I'm getting closer, but I haven't quite got it all working yet. So
Cool.
so anyway, that was blocking me, but I think I'm working through it.
Well, if you need someone in another time zone to, check it out.
Yeah, eventually I will. I will. Right, because I can only do one test. Although I can probably change the time zone on my computer to pretend I'm in a different time zone. So
Right,
I could do
exactly. Yeah, that'll work.
that. And as far as what I work on next, I think I'm gonna call it a day pretty soon and just take it easy for the weekend and come back
Okay.
to this stuff next week. And
Yay.
how? Okay.
Sounds great. Well, Sam Pretty.
He's gone now.
Okay. Yeah. I spent a few minutes watching Yarrow, and I believe the guy's name was Greg.
Okay.
And they were working on a story I just submitted actually for website one, which was redirect to the same page after login. And
Okay.
um, it was a struggle to get the capybara test, like the driver, was had a request that was nil all the time, so we couldn't test the referrer. Um, like the request refer was always nil. So, but in the site and the actual app, it worked. So, no doubt, it'll just be a little more, and Yara will have that wiped out, which will be awesome. So
Nice.
you don't get shot back to the home page every time you log in from the project page.
Yeah, it's annoying. Yep.
And then, I mean, one thing that does is it does enforce people to go there to see like news items or something. If you wanted to have like a feed or something, that would be one way to
Yeah.
make people do it. But still, it's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
Uh, and then, so that was cool. And then I'm going to try to figure out some database authoring tools and work on a side project. Yeah, and I guess just did a couple little commits on the CI for AutoGraders, but nothing major.
Well, actually, I have a question, or I guess a couple questions. I think the main question is if you want to do if you get to the point where your code is working, then you do a pull request. How does that? I've never done that. How does that work? Is it pretty easy?
Yeah. Basically, you if you're in the master branch, say, because that's where you've been working, just before you go to do your pull request, at least check out -b onto a new branch name that is like a topic branch, they call it, which would be specific like to what you're working on. Hopefully, it's a short descriptive name, and then you just push that to your local, and from there. Once you push that to your local, there'll be a green button right on GitHub that said, hey, you just pushed this branch. How about doing a pull request? And then from there, you can go and manipulate the little drop-down boxes. It's a little bit tricky because it's not the best user experience on that stuff. But you can switch forks. If it just says that you can do a pull request to your own repo, there's also a little link right above that says you can also do things across forks. So then you would switch it to, the whatever branch that you're trying to, I guess, develop probably on website one, and then submit from there.
Okay.
You can do a review. It'll give you the chance to. If it says actually the button is like compare and pull request, so you can press it once. It'll do the comparison. And then it gives you another chance to add notes and then make the final pull request. And you can always cancel them, reopen them, that kind of thing too. One tricky thing is if you have an open pull request on a topic branch and you make more commits to it and push them to your repo, they will also get added to the pull request that's been submitted. So in some ways that's real handy for people's comments. They say, oh, could you do this? Can you do that? And you're like, oh, sure, just push it to the same branch. But then if you forget to switch branches or something for continued work, it just ends up out there.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Cool. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. You too. Okay. Bye.